These are 10 tragic true stories of missing people that ended in murder, and it's shocking. Number 1. Autumn Pasquale. 12-year-old Autumn Pasquale went missing one Saturday afternoon while riding her new white BMX bike around her neighborhood. She never returned. Her body was found 2 days later inside a blue recycling bin outside a vacant house. Less than 72 hours after she vanished, police arrested 2 teenage brothers, Justin and Dante Robinson. Investigators said they lured Autumn to their home to steal parts from her bike. Both were charged with first-degree murder. Number 2. Heidi Plunk. On October 17, 2021, 39-year-old Heidi Plunk mysteriously vanished after leaving her son's football game. She never made it back home. When she failed to pick up her son from school 3 days later, her ex-husband became worried and contacted authorities. Surveillance footage from that day showed Heidi walking down an alley near a luxury high-rise apartment building in downtown Los Angeles. Oddly, her dog was later found wandering alone on the 28th floor of that same building. Months later, a major breakthrough was made public in February. That same high-rise was linked to Heidi's boyfriend, who was reportedly also her drug dealer. Witnesses said Heidi went to a party on the 40th floor, where she allegedly took Adderall unknowingly laced with fentanyl, and collapsed soon after. She had handed off her dog to a sitter earlier, which may explain why it was later found alone. Investigators believe Heidi's body was disposed of through the building's trash chute and got stuck on the 28th floor. Number 3. Lynn Jackenheimer. Lynn Jackenheimer, a 33-year-old mom from Ohio, vanished while on vacation in North Carolina with her boyfriend, Nate Somerville, and her 2 kids. Her body was later found in a vacant lot about 30 miles from the hotel they had stayed in. After killing Lynn by strangling her, Nate drove the children back to Ohio and left them at home before fleeing. He eventually admitted to the murder but said he couldn't remember doing it. He was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to 30 years in prison. Number 4. Whitney Heichel. Whitney Heichel, a 21-year-old woman with a quiet life, worked at her local Starbucks and was happily married. When she didn't show up for her shift one morning, her husband immediately knew something was wrong and reported her missing. 3 days later, Whitney was found murdered, shot multiple times. The suspect was 24-year-old Jonathan Holt, a man who attended the same church and lived in the same apartment complex as Whitney and her husband. Her body was discovered on a remote mountainside about 40 minutes away. Her car had been abandoned in a Walmart parking lot with a shattered window, and during her disappearance, her bank card was used at 2 gas stations just minutes apart. Her phone was later found in bushes nearby with unread messages asking if she was okay. In July 2013, Holt was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Number 5. Hannah Truelove. 16-year-old Hannah Truelove was last seen on the evening of August 23, 2012, standing outside near her apartment complex in Georgia. By 9:30 p.m., she still hadn't returned home, and her mother called police. A heavy rainstorm hit that night, washing away what could have been key evidence. The following morning, a man walking his dog in the woods came across what he thought was a mannequin. It wasn't. It was Hannah. She had been stabbed several times and left in a ravine connected to the apartment's drainage system. Days before her death, Hannah had posted online that she was scared for her life. Rumors spread at school that she had a stalker and a secret phone she used to communicate with strangers. One suspect was questioned, but later cleared. Police believe Hannah was lured to the spot where she was eventually killed. Number 6. Summer Wells. 5-year-old Summer Wells disappeared from her home in Hawkins County, Tennessee, in June 2021. Around the same time, a Toyota pickup truck was seen in the area, but the driver was never found. Investigators haven't confirmed whether she was abducted, but they haven't ruled out foul play. One theory is that Summer wandered off into the rough terrain and got lost. Nearly 2 years later, her case remains unsolved. Her Amber Alert is still active, and her family is still waiting, hoping she'll come home. Number 7. Christian Aguilar. Christian Aguilar, an 18-year-old freshman at the University of Florida, disappeared on September 20, 2012. He was last seen with his old friend Pedro Bravo, and the two had reportedly gotten into a fight over Christian's girlfriend, Erica, who used to date Pedro back in high school. Obsessed, Pedro transferred to the same university as Erica, unaware she had already moved on. Christian and Erica kept their relationship quiet. But when Pedro found out, he invited Christian to talk. That was the last time anyone saw him. 22 days later, Christian's body was found 60 miles outside Gainesville. Pedro had laced a Gatorade bottle with Tylenol PM, poisoned Christian, and strangled him for 13 minutes outside a Walmart before dumping his body. Despite denying the crime, Pedro's journal revealed his obsession with Erica. He was sentenced to life in prison for Christian's murder. Number 8. Tiffany Foster. Tiffany Foster was a 35-year-old mother of 3, engaged and preparing to graduate from Georgia Military College when she disappeared on March 1, 2021. She was last seen at her apartment. The next day, she didn't show up for class and was reported missing. She never showed up for work or a scheduled flight to Texas. On March 8th, her car was found 30 miles away with her purse and keys still inside. Her fiancé, Reginald Robertson, was later arrested on unrelated charges of kidnapping and assault. He claimed she went out to run an errand and never returned. More than 2 years later, Tiffany is still missing, and her fiancé remains behind bars. Number 9. Lizzie Marriott. Lizzie Marriott, a 19-year-old college student, was reported missing after she stopped responding to calls and texts from her loved ones. Her car was found in a University of New Hampshire parking lot. Police discovered Lizzie had made plans to visit a friend named Kat that night, but what she didn't know was that Kat's boyfriend Seth would also be there, and he had a violent history. At some point that evening, Seth sexually assaulted and murdered Lizzie. Her sweatshirt was found in a nearby dumpster, but her body was never recovered. In 2014, Seth was charged with second-degree murder. Kat was never implicated. Authorities believe Lizzie was strangled or suffocated in that apartment the night she vanished. Number 10. Jessica Ridgway. On an ordinary October morning in Colorado, 10-year-old Jessica Ridgway disappeared on her way to school. A search began immediately after her backpack and glasses were found left on a nearby sidewalk. Tragically, her remains were discovered 5 days later. 17-year-old Austin Sigg eventually confessed to the crime. According to police reports, he encountered Jessica as she passed by his parked vehicle and forced her into his custody. He took her to his home where the situation escalated into a fatal outcome. Afterward, he attempted to conceal what he had done by hiding her remains in different locations, including a local park and his home. Sigg had no prior connection to Jessica. He was arrested, convicted, and is now serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole.